Wow, we're going to be seeing some major changes at the NLRB just as soon as the president appoints 2 new Republican members. And here's my top 10 list. The election rule, which allows the NLRB to schedule elections in a very short period of time compared to the old days, that's going to be removed by the new board. Of course, that will take a complicated notice and hearing procedure, which takes a long time. Next, class action waivers, which is an issue that's actually pending in the United States Supreme Court, where the board has said that forcing employees to agree that they will not bring class actions or collective actions is a violation of the NLRB. Next is micro units, where we take, for example, a department store where normally we have wall-to-wall units, and the board has allowed unions to carve out a smaller unit, such as the fragrance workers at that store. Next is joint employers, making it much more easy for the board to find that a franchisor is a joint employer with a franchisee based on the idea that the franchisor has the right to control employee working conditions, even though that is never really exercised. Next is joint representation, where you have a main employer and then with employees, and then a staffing company that has its employees all working side by side. It used to be that you had to have the consent of both employers in order to form a single unit, and that's been thrown out. So let's see that return again. Next is whether college students are employees under the statute. Even though they're really students, are they also employees? Expect the new board to say, no, they're not employees. Confidentiality is a big one because the current board has been taking a lot of employer policies around confidentiality and saying, whoa, well, an employee might reasonably construe that as preventing them from discussing wages and hours in terms of and conditions of employment. So expect that one to go out. Next is the employer's email being used by employees while off duty to engage in conversations around wages and hours and unionizing. Employers are saying, hey, no, that's mine, you can't use it. We expect the board to go back to that rule. Next is a minor item, really, the dues checkoff when a collective bargaining agreement ends. The board for decades has said the duty to check off dues, which is like a payroll deduction, ends, and the current board has said no, that continues. So expect that to go back. And lastly, the current board has made it much more difficult to obtain deferral to arbitration, and that will also be rolled back. So we've got 10 things here. It'll take some long while for that to play out as the cases bubble up from below, but I am almost certain that in all of these 10 situations, we are going to go back to the old rules. Thanks for watching.